have found the Genesis frequency. This is Dr. Stephen J. Kazmina welcoming you in to another episode of a show that focuses on your whole life prosperity and success. Whole life prosperity and success by cooperating with the universal laws that are available to each and every one of us. This is Quantum Leap Goal Achievement, radical personal transformation, whole life prosperity and success. Now, stay tuned for another exciting episode that'll move the needle in your life from where you are now to where you want to be.
And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it may be, wherever you are in the world. When you hit that play button, so glad you did. You, of course, have found the Genesis Frequency Podcast with yours truly, Dr. Stephen J. Kazmina, Dr. Cause, in effect, as I go by sometimes. Hey, welcome in. Whether you're here for the first time or you are a repeat listener, I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for being here. And indeed, we do focus on whole life prosperity and success, personal, professional, and leadership development, all woven into spiritual development as well, all put together as one thing. And this is a show really about the most efficient and effective way to navigate life and living in our human experience, both personally and professionally. So everything I talk about applies in the workplace, applies anywhere on the corporate team you find yourself. It applies to you as an individual, as a small business owner, as a element of your family unit. It's all good stuff. And I hope that you find what works for you and apply it in your life because it's all about the application and action that you take. So we want to be in alignment with things that we study and things that really resonate with us. We want to apply them in our lives in the most effective way that we can so that we see results. It's about the results that we get. And I've said so many times over and over and over again that most of society lives from the results. They get angry. I mean, just turn on the TV or the radio. They live from the results. Here's what's showing up in my life. Here's what's showing up in the world. And in that energy of the results, they seek the solution. And that's not how we work. That's not how we're wired. That's not the most efficient and effective way to do things. So I'm considering what direction will I take this show this morning, and I'm looking around and I always start my day the same way, and I've shared this over and over again. I start it with my own personal prayer, meditation, reflection, sitting in the silence, and my prayer is always one for an awareness of the wisdom, inspiration, and guidance that lives within me that I open to it and receive from it, and it never fails. But today was no different. I'm looking around and I'm surrounded just by the energy of all these books that I have, and I'm thinking, hey, it's right in front of you. You have not really shared some of the quotes that you have plastered on your bulletin board on your wall in front of you. And I'm thinking, let's take these apart a little bit because these are some of the things, and that's what I do on this show is I share some of the things that are really have really been successful for me in moving from where I was to where I want to be into a greater and greater unfoldment and evolution of all this success and prosperity and goodness and goals that I want to experience in my life. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to unpack a few of these quotes, take a dive into them if I'm so inspired. And maybe I'll get through them today. Maybe I won't. And we can always continue this because I don't want to run too far over. So immediately to my left, the first set of quotes, I have three on one page. And, I've been a big fan of Jack Canfield for a long time and almost went on board with him. And who knows, I may in the future being one of his trainers, but I went with Bob Proctor, and I had just gotten my doctorate in holistic life coaching. And, you know, I just resonated with Bob at the time, but I just had finished uh, Jack Canfield's book on the success principles. And I wrote down a few from there, way more than a few in the notebook I use because I don't really read books. I study them, you know, a few pages at a time, really take them apart and look for the way to apply them and take action in my life. But a couple of them stood out that I typed them up and put them on the bulletin board. And I think this is really important to share with you listeners. Let me share the first one and get right into it. First one says you can begin right now to act as if you have achieved any goal you desire. And that outer experience of acting as if will create the inner experience, the millionaire mindset, as it were, that will take you to the actual manifestation of that experience. Let me say that again. I stumbled over my words. I noticed a typo in here. You can begin right now to act as if you have achieved any goal you desire. And that outer experience of acting as if will create the inner experience, the millionaire mindset, as it were, that will take you to the actual manifestation of that experience. So let's unpack this a little bit and think about that. You've probably heard it said over and over again, act as if. So as we're pursuing something, and hopefully you've identified a big dream goal that you're working toward, you identified that goal if you followed some of the suggestions I did for identifying your big dreams. You moved into a feeling energetically that helped you to say, yeah, this is it. This is the one. This is the one that I've wanted all my life. This is the one that will satisfy the longing and discontent that I feel. So this quote right here is telling you move into it. Move into it right now. Don't let it be a goal that's far off and exist only in some future point in time. You've already created it by designing it using your imagination, using the canvas, the screen of your mind. You built this out. You've moved into it in your visualization and mentally. Now walk in that energy. Be in that energy. Think from that energy. It's thoughts, it's words. Speak from that energy. It's the actions you take. So, yes, this has to do with your self image, but it also has to do with how you carry yourself, how you speak to other people. Now, if I was working with you and I knew what that big dream goal is, we could go much, much deeper into this. But because it's going to be different for each person depending on what that is. Now, alignment with this goal, I mean, alignment with this quote, I should say, people will say, well, you know, I can't act as if because if I acted as if I don't physically, you know what, there's something that you can identify. You can, number one, you can walk in the energy of that which you visualize, because I've always talked about the law of specificity to step into your power. And how do we do that? Power, again, is the awareness that we have a choice, the ability to make a decision and decide to pursue that choice, setting the intention that no matter what, I am going and moving in that direction in every thought, word, and action, starting right here, right now, and then making that commitment to it. So within that, we build that out using the power of our imagination. We get specific and we move in. We unpack our bags, and this is it. Not not going anywhere else. This is my primary objective. I'm not going to change the goal. I'll change the plan. I'll identify what works and doesn't work for me, but I'm going to move in this direction. I am committed to that. So you can move as you build it out and you on the screen of your mind. and start every day this way, you can move energetically into it because it already exists. I've already explained umpteenth times that everything is created twice, first in the mind or in the imagination, then in our physical world of form. So move in, act as if right now, carry yourself energetically, moved in completely to the wish fulfilled, the dream fulfilled, the goal realized. You have to act in that. You can't walk around with your head in the sand. Oh, it's someday my ship will come in. Someday I'll be like that. No, you have a definite point in time that this will be your experience. And I suggest that that definite point in time is right now in alignment with this quote. So we can talk more about that. Don't forget, you can reach out as a listener to the show. Reach out, get on my calendar, successappointment.com. If Sometimes if we have pop-ups blocked on our browser, that doesn't come up real easily, successappointment.com. You can always email me, Stephen, Stephen, at successocean.com. Stephen, Stephen, at successocean.com. And we can have a conversation about your particular situation, about anything on this show. You can identify perhaps what's been stopping you in the past and set you out with a plan moving you in the right direction. So there's my brief commercial. All right. Here's another one by Jack Canfield. He says, you only have control over three things in your life: the thoughts you think, the images you visualize, and the actions you take, your behavior. How you use these three things determines everything you experience. If you don't like what you are producing and experiencing, you have to change your responses. So think about that. And this is in total alignment. That's why I love this quote with what I have been teaching for years and years and years and years. Thoughts plus feelings plus actions equals results. And since we are creatures of habit, habit dictates our behavior. We have to always look to develop new habits, success habits, prosperity habits in every area of our lives. So we're working on one big dream goal, perhaps, but hey, we want to become a better version of ourselves every single day. So think about this. You have control over three things in your life: the thoughts that you think. See, I always like to talk in thoughts, words, and actions because everything's going to start in thought. Even the words you speak, you have the thought first, then you speak the words. You have the thought first, then you take the action. Are are those words and those actions and those thoughts in alignment energetically and supportive of the goal you have identified that you are committed to? So we want to make sure that we know this. So we have control of our thoughts. We can decide. That's what I talked about in the first quote. If you move into the energy of the wish fulfilled, the dream realized, then the thoughts you think are going to be in alignment with that. They're going to be in harmony with that. You can't you can't act as if and think in an opposing way, right? You can't have this big dream and then your thoughts are saying, yeah, well, it's probably never going to really happen for me. You can't do that. It's counterintuitive. I mean, you have to be vigilant. You have to control your thoughts and your thinking and the image you visualize. Since we are creatures of habits and we're driven by our programming and our paradigms, what is it that you have to break apart in there that is not supportive of your new big dream goal? And this again is for you in your organization as part of a corporate team or working on something individually for you. What are you visualizing? Are you visualizing yourself living the dream now? Tie this together with the first one. That's what you should be visualizing. I am this now. No past, no future. I am. This is my present reality because you should be affirming it too. I am so happy and grateful now that I am. I am. What are your I am statements? So the image you're visualizing, what you're seeing, not yourself on the screen acting out in your movie as a character, but yourself really feeling the energy as if it is real right now. That's the image you visualize, you should be visualizing, and the actions you take, right? Sometimes we get the thought right. Maybe we even speak the words, living as if, acting as if. But what about the actions that we take? What about our behavior, how we're showing up, how we're treating others, how we're treating ourselves? What are we rooted and grounded with? Hopefully, you've done some work on values and principles and your own mission. What are the actions that I'm taking? What are the behaviors or the actions that I'm not taking? If perhaps my dream, my goal, my desire, my aspirations require me to do something, maybe I'm not doing those things. So we got to do that inner work. Why am I not doing those things? We're going to talk about the common denominator of success on a future in a future show, a future episode. And that's going to be all about doing the things to be successful that unsuccessful people don't like to do. So looking at this quote, you have to take the action that is necessary to move you from where you are to where you want to be. And Jack tells us that how you use these three things really determines your experience. It determines what's showing up. So if your thoughts, your visualization, and your action, your behavior are all in alignment with the first quote I shared, acting as if, you will produce a different experience and you will do this each and every day. So that means every step you take, which is action, right? Being in support of the bigger picture will move you closer to it. Even though you're right where you are right now, you are deliberately and intentionally creating the energy that is attracting to you circumstances, events, people that are supportive of this new design that you have already created on the screen of your mind. So very, very, very powerful quotes too from Jack. And then I think it really ties in with this third one on my page, and that'll probably do it for today. And I got a few more from Napoleon Hill and T. Harv Eker and um, we're going to W.H. Murray. We're going to go into those next episode. So this last one on this particular sheet that I have on my bulletin board is from Neil Donald Walsh. Perhaps you know of him, a deeply spiritual writer, conversations with God, things like that. This one's about gratitude and thanksgiving, but it's perfectly in alignment with the first two we heard from Jack Canfield. This one is again, from Neil Donald Walsh, and it says gratitude in advance. I talked a little bit about that in the last episode. Gratitude in advance is the most powerful creative force in the universe. Think about that. The most powerful creative force in the universe is gratitude. He continues, most people do not know this, yet it is true. Expressing thankfulness in advance is the way of all masters. So do not wait for a thing to happen and then give thanks. Give thanks before it happens and watch energies swirl. To thank God before something occurs is an act of extraordinary faith. And that, of course, is where the power comes from. This is said, one of the reasons I put it on here is it just said so very, very well. It is powerful. I encourage everyone to do this on a daily basis, giving thanks in advance. I am so happy. I am so grateful now that I am. And then you fill in the blanks with all that it is that you want to achieve, the goal that you want to achieve. Fill it in. So can you see how these three are really tied together? I give gratitude and I act as if I've already designed it. I've already moved in energetically. I've already decided this is what I want to experience in my organization, in my corporation, in my small business, in my personal life. I've already moved in. It's already been created in my mind. I am thankful. I'm so happy and grateful now that this is my experience. Extremely powerful. I'm so happy and grateful that I know now that I can control three things in my life: my thoughts, my images that I visualize, the actions I take. I am thankful for that. I am thankful that I can control this, and this supports me in the experience of all that I desire to experience. Everything moves. This is what's said within Neil's quote: give thanks before it happens and watch energy swirl. This is where we see movement. Situations, again, situations, experience, events, people moving in, our awareness expanding and just noticing what we're noticing. Hey, and apprehending it. Hey, that's supportive. That's supportive. I'm grabbing this. This supports it. Oh, this over here, this is in harmony. Look what has just moved into my field of experience. Wow. This synchronicity, you might call them coincidence at first, but they're not. This is all part of the energy that you're wrapping yourself in and moving into, living in alignment with these three quotes, taking their instruction, applying them in your life, and taking action on them. Very, very powerful quotes, in my humble opinion. So listen to this one a few times. Listen to these quotes. Maybe stop it and start this podcast episode. Write them out for yourself, Google them, print them out, whatever it is. And let me know how they're working out for you in your life when you make these some words to live by, kind of a North Star to keep you on track, moving you from where you are to where you want to be. That's going to do it for today. That's going to wrap up the show already. We'll continue with some of my favorite quotes that I surround myself with. This energy that I just feel energized sharing these quotes with you. This energy that we get from words that really resonate with us is a powerful tool to use as we pursue personal, professional, and leadership development and spiritual development in our lives. So I suggest you give it a listen. It's the repetition over and over and over again. That's what we do in our company, Leadership Management International. One of the ways we get things done, the methodology is through repetition, spaced repetition of the content. And it's no different here. Listen to these episodes over and over and over again. Spaced repetition, very, very powerful, like gratitude. That's why you know all the words to all your favorite songs, right? You sang them over and over and over again while you're driving your car and listening to them, or you had a favorite one you're playing over and over at home with your earbuds on, whatever it is, however you listen, and you know the words from spaced repetition. Very powerful stuff. Do that. That's your application and action part here. And see how it makes you feel energetically, especially moving in, acting as if, noticing that you control your thoughts, your visualizations, your actions, and giving thanks in advance. Don't forget, reach out to me, Stephen at successocean.com. Let's have a conversation about all this. I'm also looking to bring somebody on board, an entrepreneurial mindset that would like to move into the very lucrative field of personal, professional, and leadership development, helping others do the same. So reach on out. For now, that's going to do it. You've been listening to the Genesis Frequency Podcast, and this is Dr. Cause and Effect. Dr. Stephen J. Kosmina, wishing you an infinitely spectacular day. God bless you.